Hello everybody, and welcome back to our series of Q&A in which we take your questions from you, the YouTube viewer, as well as our Patreon members, and we do our best to answer them on air. Please keep in mind, as ever, these are general questions to general answers. These are general answers to general questions. Both. Because unless we can get into specific details about your particular case, it's very difficult for us to answer like that. It's kind of sort of what Patreon is for. It's certainly what our Sunday meetings on Patreon are for. Nonetheless, we're going to do our very best to answer the questions that you presented to us. So having said that, let's jump in.
Welcome back, everybody. So we're going to start with Darren Clark. Your question is, could you make us a comprehensive and detailed guide as to how to move to Germany if you were on the registry? Well, yes, and we already did. Those videos are on Patreon right now. I believe they're available for Tier 3 or higher members. And I'm constantly putting more videos on there. We have so many of them, but I'm trying to edit them as quickly as possible and get them uploaded. So there's an entire series of what to do to plan, what to do when you arrive, everything. Yeah, everything's on there. So,
and we update them.
Yeah.
I think right now in the series there's about, 18, 20?
There's
a lot.
Don't remember.
There are a lot of videos that get into the details of
Yeah.
how to get over here, how to get started.
But we will still make more because there's always new things we're learning.
Correct.
All the time that we would love to share with you guys. So, thank you for that question. Sham Kabam. 7535. Hello. I have a question. I was wondering if someone successfully got residency in Germany, are they able to bring their spouse with? Also, let's say if they naturalize there down the line, will they be able to use the German passport to travel, or will they still look at the background like in the U.S.? Well, that's a two-part question. It's actually two separate questions. It's not even two parts of one question. If you got residency here, bring your spouse with, not at first, unless you get a blue card. If you get a blue card, then yes, you get an automatic settlement permit and your family can come with you. If you just get a standard residence permit, then it's just more paperwork. You can bring your family members, spouse, kids, whatever, as long as you can prove that you can support them.
Correct.
And you have a place to live, then yes, you can. That just takes more time. So blue card right away, regular residence permit.
And it's only a question of time. Really.
Yeah, it's just time.
That's all.
Is really. But if you are from the U.S., your spouse can also come independently and get their own visa. So that's only if you want to support them. If they're going to get a visa on their own and work, then you don't have to worry about it. You can both come at the same time, go get jobs, and live together, and it's totally fine. But if you want to support that person, then you have to prove that you can. So, if you naturalize down the line, would you be able to use a German passport? Yes, of course.
Yep.
When you become a citizen, you get a German passport, and you are a German citizen.
Yep.
As far as the background, no, that doesn't have anything to do with it. You're a German citizen. As long as you don't travel to the United States, because you would have to use an American passport to travel to the United States.
Well, under the new German citizenship law, Germany recognizes dual citizenship, as does the United States, as does Canada. So
they do. However,
they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, America being America will still require you, because you are a citizen of America, to travel to America with your American passport. It wouldn't matter if you're a citizen of any other 5 other countries. If you're an American citizen, you have to come to America with your American passport. That's just the law.
Could you be a citizen of 5 other countries? And if you could, what would be the point?
Passports. Jason Bourne.
I was just thinking that too. That's some Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne had a fistful of passports in his bag. So,
Okay.
But good question, Sham Kabam. Thank you. PNW 520 asks, I'm a registered sex offender in America and I currently live in Virginia. I really want to visit Germany and I feel like they will try to stop me because they may think I do not want to come back. I may even have relatives in Austria, but I do not know because my family had to flee from Austria during World War II.
Ooh, put that on your paperwork.
Will I have a problem coming for a 2-week visit to Germany, or will I need some type of sponsor when I get there? Thank you. Interesting question. You want to visit Germany, you think they'll stop because you don't want to come back. Well, how are they going to know?
But even still, the answer is no.
How would they're only going to know that if you tell them, and they're still not going to care.
But we've had people tell them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That didn't change anything.
Right. So,
no.
Yeah, the answer is no to that one. If you have relatives in Austria, like if you can prove you have ties to Austria and they had to flee because of persecution of the NSDAP, then you might be able to get somewhere with that.
I think I've read that somewhere before, even here in Germany.
In Germany, yeah, you can get citizenship if you had direct lineage to someone who was persecuted under the Nazis. So, I mean, Austria probably has similar legislation on their books. Look into that because that we would.
Yeah,
be really
that could be
interested.
worth researching. And if you find something out, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
That could really be interesting.
Definitely. Sean Spots. How's it going, Sean? Is there any chance whatsoever of the registry in the U.S. being abolished since it has been deemed unconstitutional in many states, along with being deemed unconstitutional internationally? Oh, that's an interesting way to put that. One, probably not. Parts of it have been deemed unconstitutional in several states. Yes, that's true.
And parts have not.
It's also implemented at the state level anyway. So at the federal level, no, there's probably no chance of that ever being abolished. The Supreme Court would have to...
But it's a political third rail. No politician is going to stand up and sponsor that bill. No politician is going to vote for that bill.
Right. And the Supreme Court, they're not going to strike it down. They've already shown that they can't make rational decisions.
Well, no, even when it was a moderate Supreme Court,
that's
20 years ago, they still upheld, 30 years ago, they still upheld the registry laws. So if you couldn't do it with a moderate court, you're sure not going to do it under this current court. So I don't hold out much hope for it.
The best thing you can hope for is to live in a state that is not AWA compliant and does their own thing, because those states usually have a better standard for the most part. There are states, like a certain state that shall not be named, that goes above and beyond the cruelty that is imposed at the federal level, and they just make it a lot harder.
Yeah, even when you're dead, even when you die, they don't remove you from the registry.
Yeah, so just find a place that's more relaxed, where most of it has been deemed unconstitutional, like in places like PA, Michigan, Washington State, Oregon. You know, like there are some states where it's not as bad.
You know what the crazy thing? I know this is a tangent, but now that I've lived here in Europe almost 6 years, I didn't know that till his wife pointed it out to me this afternoon at lunch. Almost 6 years. And my thinking has definitely begun to shift toward thinking as a European. And I see things now that are completely normal that in the United States I didn't consider normal. And now I see things that I did see as normal in the United States as absolutely crazy. Because, like, in my flying club, we have some teenagers, and they know my history. Everybody in my flying club knows my history, and they ask me questions, and we sit around and we talk about things. And I think about now how people go to prison for imaginary crimes. Yeah. I don't understand that anymore. I cannot understand that. And this idea that even if someone does, and forgive me for going on a tangent, I don't even know why it's in my head at the moment, but this idea that people go to prison for that nonsense. Or the people go to prison because somebody was 20 and their girlfriend was 16 or what have you. In the United States, everybody's, they act like their hair's on fire and they want to pull out their eyes and stomp on them. And I look at this stuff now and it's like, dude, okay, yeah, illegal, yeah, but what an overreaction. If you really stop and step back and look at some of this stuff that people are on the registry for, this is absurd. It is so blown out of proportion in the United States because anything to do with sex is automatically full speed. You go from 0 to 100 in a fraction of a second because we watch movies or we watch television here in Europe. We go to the movie theater. You go to the movie theater here in Germany, and there are always beer commercials before the movie, and there's almost guaranteed to be some bare-breasted women, just because, I mean, it's what it is. Or you see, the children in front of the what is that? Stadtbibliothek, the
library.
Public library that's in front of the office building where we work. In the summer, there's kids in there playing naked in the water. And in the United States, they'd have the SWAT team out. Here, it's completely normal. You go hiking in the forest, as I've done, and you come across people who are just completely naked hiking through the forest. It happens. It's not that common. I don't want to make it sound like it happens every day. But it happens, and people are just like, hey, moin, good morgen, ciao, cheers, whatever. Nobody cares. And I'm starting to look at what goes on in the United States, and the people not only go on the registry for, but go to prison for very long terms. This shit's blown out of proportion.
Certainly is.
I think it's aggravating me more today than when I was living in the U.S. So sorry for the tangent, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. As far as it being deemed unconstitutional internationally, it would violate constitutions of other countries. Well, hell, it violates the Constitution of the U.S., but that doesn't mean anything. And even if it did, America would never follow through with it. I mean, the UN could make a resolution tomorrow stating that America is criminal against humanity. They do this, they do that. The registry is horrible. America will just say it doesn't matter. We disregard it. We don't have to abide by it because we're America.
They would.
We never have to abide by any rules. So.
And let's be careful about saying that some countries have found that these registries violate human rights. They have found that portions of them, just like the Supreme Court of various states, portions of the registry violate. But Germany has a registry. I mean, technically, by definition, they have a registry. But it is absolutely 100% not public. Mm-hmm. It absolutely 100% gets erased after a certain amount of time because they believe in rehabilitation here. Mm-hmm. And it's not specific so much to sex offenders as it's just criminals in general. But after, if it's a violent crime after 20 years, it's erased. Erased, like it didn't happen. If it's a non-violent crime or a lower level crime after 10 years, it's erased, like it never happened. So I just say let's be careful in what we're saying about countries deeming it unconstitutional or a violation of human rights.
Thank you for that, Sean. The next one's from the Keymaster. Not the gatekeeper, the Keymaster.
That almost sounds like a Netflix show, doesn't it?
Well, it's
the
from
Keymaster.
Yeah,
they have Lock and Key.
It's from Ghostbusters.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The Keymaster?
Are you the gatekeeper? I am the Keymaster. Never mind.
Yeah, that chick with the butch haircut.
Okay, Keymaster.
Oh.
So I am 53 years old, not ready to retire yet, but I have
not.
earned enough credits to get Social Security when I retire. If I move out of the country, do I forfeit my Social Security?
Good question.
No.
It's that simple.
Next
no.
question. No.
Let me add on that if you have any kind of military pension or military disability or anything like that, you earned it.
Yeah. Moving doesn't
change it.
If you were to forfeit your citizenship to the U.S. for whatever reason, then yeah, you wouldn't get it. But as long as you're a U.S. citizen, you still are entitled to all the rights and benefits
thereof.
Oh yeah, under the law. Okay, next one. Rakesh Parani. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Are there English-speaking jobs in Europe? For instance, is there a recruiter for Americans wanting to move? English-speaking jobs in Europe? Yes.
100%.
Lots.
100%.
Lots. And not only English-speaking, but non-German-speaking. So, say you don't speak English or you don't speak English very well, you get a job that doesn't require German.
But
in Germany.
I'm not sure we have the right question. If the question is, are there non-German speaking jobs? Are there English speaking jobs? The answer is yes. But are you asking, is there a job that you can have where you don't need to speak English?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, excuse me. You don't need to speak German or Danish or Polish at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess, but you're not going to get very far. Yeah, you could, but it would be an entry-level position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not going to get very far.
Or a specialist job that you might not find because it's already filled with somebody else who can't speak German.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't come over here banking on that. I would still recommend you learn German before you come here.
Yeah. You can get an entry-level position at a fast food restaurant, at a
you can
hotel
work
desk.
At any hotel or fast food.
Yeah. But anything beyond that, and I almost want to say anything beyond a minimum wage job. Not minimum wage here is not the same as America.
Wage, yeah.
It's not the same as America at all, but that's probably what you're going to be limited to.
Yeah. And the second part was a recruiter for Americans wanting to move. There are recruiters, but if you want to come here, you can't really go through a temp agency.
Correct.
And that's because the job will not fulfill the requirements for residency. Because when you get that job, it will be through the temp agency. And it's not, unless you're a direct hire. I mean, if you get a direct hire from that company, which is possible, then you can do it. But, I mean, if you go through a temp agency, then you work for the temp agency.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Which is not a contract that satisfies the requirements
and
of
they're
a work visa.
They're not going to allow that. So I think we can get one more in this episode. Get one more in real quick. This one is from David Leon 6831. Hello, David.
Hello, David.
Y'all gonna make any videos from Nuremberg? I hope I pronounced that right. Y'all.
Well, David, considering you no longer live in Nuremberg, you now live in the same town as me, and considering the fact that we discussed this yesterday over lunch.
So no. The answer is no.
No. Dude, you could have asked me this yesterday at lunch.
So.
Which reminds me, anybody out there who has a question they want us to answer specifically, who would like to come over here and buy us lunch, we'll be happy to answer your questions. Just throwing that out there.
So, well, that question was answered a lot faster than I thought. So we could probably get one more.
But thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you, David. This one is from Redeeming Patriot.
Hello, Redeeming Patriot.
Why wasn't or isn't there a registry for murderers? There is. And it's the same registry. Now, some states might not abide by it, but murder is still one of the crimes listed under the SORNA, AWA, murder and kidnapping. I mean, kidnapping is not a sex crime, but it's also a registrable offense. But murder can. Some states don't do it, but I believe there is.
And beyond that, we're concerned with whatever the registries are at this point in Europe, and there isn't.
And the biggest thing is with murderers, most of them do life anyway. They're never getting out of prison, so to put them on a registry isn't really going to help. I mean, the people that would get out of prison for that killing, it would be manslaughter. It would be, something along the lines of you killed somebody, but it wasn't with malice. Because first and second degree murder, most times you're in prison for life. What's the point in putting you on a registry?
But that's also my argument against the sex offender registry. Because the people who are really should be on that registry are never getting out of prison.
Yeah, they get hefty sentences.
Yeah, and I know that the legislators say that, well, the registry helps us to investigate further sex offenses. But how many people actually get in trouble a second time because of the registry? The statistics are so low as to make the registry meaningless.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a different topic, different day.
Exactly. So, all right, that's going to do it for this episode. But thank you for those questions, folks. And we will be back with another one shortly.
shortly.
As soon as we can get it done. And we got plenty more questions to go.
Correct. And hopefully this is the stepping stone for you to do the thing that I'm always asking you to do. If you're not happy with your situation, do something about it. We're here to answer as many questions as we can to help you on that path. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves.
Ciao.
Cheers.